So we are now in chapter 8, which will be tackled the assessment of learnings in technology and livelihood education.
Good day, everyone. I'm going to report that technology and livelihood education in public and private secondary schools. The technology and livelihood education of the K-12 basic education program provides two types of curriculum for regular high schools, which are described as follows. First, the TechVoc-based TL is designed based on the training regulation of the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority. It focuses on technical skills development in any area of specialization that are the students wants to pursue. The textbook-based TLE focuses on the five common competences to include mensuration and calculation, technical, drafting, use to tools and equipment, maintenance of tools and equipment, and occupational health and safety in the exploratory phase in grade 7 and 8. Specialization will start from grade 9 to 12. The textbook-based TLE requires facilities, equipment, and teachers who are trained, certified, and NC holders. Second, the entrepreneurship education-based TLE is designed to ensure that every student will learn some livelihood skills at the end of every quarter to enable him/her to start a small household enterprise with his/her to start a small household enterprise with her/her family. It is focused on three domains, namely personal entrepreneur competences, market and environment, and process and delivery of products and services related to mini course and five competences measuration and calculation, technical drafting. Use of tools and equipment, maintenance of tools and equipment, and occupational health and safety are integrated in the domain of process and delivery. Textbook-based TLE. In the K-12 curriculum, the TLE course will be taught based on the learning outcomes and performance criteria stated in TR from TESDA. The TR of TESDA serve as basis for the competences assessment and certification, registration and delivery of training programs, and development of curriculum and assessment instrument. Because TLE courses are based on TR's K-12 high school students, grade 9 to 12, are expected to pass TESDA assessment or obtain an appropriate level of NC. Entrepreneurship Education-based TLE. As per DepEd Order Number 67 2012, school that will to offer the entrepreneurship education based TLE shall use the 2010 Secondary Education Curriculum Career Pathways, Technology and Livelihood Education that follows the Understanding by Design model developed by J. M.C. Tingy and Grant Wiggins. A description of Stage 2 of the Understanding by Design plan is shown below. Stage 2 Assessment defines acceptable evidence of students' attainment of desired result, determines authentic performance tasks that a student is expected to do to demonstrate the desired understanding, and defines the criteria against which the student's performance of or product shall be judged. B. Product and performance are the evidence of students' learning and demonstration of their conceptual understanding and content and skills acquisition. Example, a product in freestyle embroidery should be marketable or genuine embroidered product that use of appropriate method embroidery the measure of success for the result outcomes at the level of understanding would be characterized by students who are able to guide the stage of CP/TLE curriculum design, particularly Stage 2, where assessment is found. There are certain guide questions the teacher might reflect on. These are follow. Assessment. Are they directly linked to standards through clearly staged criteria? Do they provide multiple sources of evidence to document progress attainment of students? Product and performance. Do they provide enough evidence of learning attainment of the standards? Do they accommodate a range of multiple intelligences and learning style? Do they demonstrate conceptual understanding and content and skills acquisition? Do they emerge naturally from the instruction activities? Do they provide individual or group works?
Hi, I'm Jeremiah Masang, and I'm here to discuss the Section 8.4 Overview and Assessments in the Grade 11 and 12 Senior High School under the K-12 Program Technical Vocational Track. Senior high school curriculum are based in two tracks, which is the academic tracks and technical and vocational tracks. There are three tracks in academic tracks, which first is Humanities and Social Sciences, or HUMS, Science, Technology, and Engineering and Mathematics, STEM, Accountancy, Business, and Management, which is ABM. In technical vocational tracks, there is one only track, which is the Technical Vocational Livelihood, or TVL. Ang bawat track na aking nabanggit ay magbibigay sa katulad nating mag-aaral ng sapat na oras upang mainsayo, makabisado ang isang larangan at mapahusay ang ating mga kasanayan sa kanilang industriya. Ang mga K-12 graduate na katulad natin ay magiging handa na maging globally competitive at sa pagdating sa kolehiyo. Assessment of students in the senior high school shall follow the competency assessment and certification system. Assessment involves the process of gathering evidence through a range of assessment procedures not limited to first, observation, second, questioning, third, demonstration, fourth, portfolio, and last is written test. So, what is competency assessment and certification? Competency assessment and certification is the process of collecting evidence and making judgment on whether competency has been achieved. At nag-focus ito na mag-assess an individual skills, knowledge, attitude, and work values relative to a unit or cluster of units of competency. A national certification, or NC, is a certification issued to individuals who achieve all the required units of competency for national qualification as defined under the training regulations. NC1 performs a routine and predictable task and work under the supervision. NC2 performs the prescribed range of functions involving knows, routines, and procedures, has limited choice and complexity of functions, and has little accountability. So, ang NC2 guys is mahalaga dahil nagbibigay ito ng kalidad na kasiguraduhan sa mga nagtapos nito sa mga tuntunin ng kaalaman, kasanayan, ugali, at pagpapahalaga sa mga kakayahan sa gitnang antas at ng mga skilled na trabaho, katulad ng taga-massage, welder, at iba pa. So guys, for you, what is TVET? TVET is Technical Vocational Education and Training. TVET is the education or training process where it involves, in addition to general education, the study of technologies and related science and acquisition of practical skills relating to occupation in various sectors of economic life and social life. And now, this section discusses the particular forms of evidence. There are two types of evidence, which are the direct evidence and indirect evidence. So, the direct evidence, the evidence that can be observed and witnessed by the assessor, and the indirect evidence naman ay evidence of candidates' output that can be reviewed or examined by the assessor. There are four types of methods in gathering evidence for competency assessment. First is observation. Second, demonstration. Third, third-party reporting. And fourth is questioning. And next, there are 6 types rules of evidence. First, the evidence should be valid. Second, the evidence should be authentic. Third, there has to be currency in the evidence presented. Fourth, evidence should be sufficient. 5. Evidence should be consistent. And last one, the evidence must be recent.
So now we will proceed on the alternative assessment methods. So before that, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Faye Cherise Flores, and I will be the one who will be discussed about the alternative assessment methods. So, do you have any idea what are the meaning about the alternative assessment methods? Okay, so when we say alternative assessment methods, from the word assessments, which means it is a process on how to determine the teachers or the learners their excellence or their development of the specific skills. Kumbaga, napaka-importante talaga ng assessments in terms of learning or in terms of teaching and learning process. Dahil dito is nadidetermine ng teacher or ng students kung ano yung kailangan niya pang i-develop or ang kailangan niya pang i-excel na skills. So by the help of this assessment, by doing an assessment or by conducting an assessment, it will be very helpful for them to achieve their goals. So what is the meaning of alternative assessments? So when we say alternative assessment, it is sometimes referred to as a performance-based assessment, performance assessment, performance testing, and authentic assessment. So alternative assessments also means as they requires the learners to reflect on their overall learning. So in this type of assessment, the alternative assessment is nakafocus siya for the performances of the students. So, kumbaga, hindi nagkakandak yung, let's say, yung teacher ng assessment in written. So, by doing an alternative assessment, which is pinoperform siya pinoperform siya to know kung alam ba ng students yung dapat niyang i-perform. So, in doing this, makikita din dito ng teacher kung nade-develop ba ng learners or ina-apply ba ng learners yung nalalaman niya or natutunan niya for the specific topics or lessons. So, it is very helpful for this kind of assessment para mas ma-enhance or mas maipakita talaga ng students ang kanilang kakayahan or ang kanilang natutunan by performing their knowledge or their learnings or what they learned. So, next. So, according to Fine on 1993, there are 2 assessment strategies are oriented toward answering 2 dramatically different questions. So, these 2 assessment strategies are the portfolios and the SAB, which means Standardized Achievement Test Battery. So, the 2 assessment strategies again are the portfolios and Standardized Achievement Test Battery. So, the differences of these 2 assessment strategies, the portfolios and Standardized Achievement Test Batteries. The portfolio means which is to provide a measure of individual student growth with respect to individual student goal, while the standardized achievement battery test, which means to provide a measure of a student's relative standing among peers on common educational content. The differences of the portfolios and standardized achievement test batteries. So when we say portfolios is na kung saan ang teacher na nagpro-provide or mini-measure niya ang kanyang mga students even na magkaiba ang kanilang mga goals. While ang standardized achievement test batteries is mini-measure ng teacher ang kanyang mga students with the same and common educational content. We'll proceed on the three main categories alternative assessment. So, may I ask you, do you have any idea on what are the three main categories for the alternative assessment? Okay, so we will discuss each assessment for you. Conventional assessment. So when we say conventional assessment, it is a standardized multiple choice test, serve a monitoring function. So when we say conventional assessment it is an assessment which is may multiple choice siya. Kumbaga may pagpipilian ka. So for this given example, if Leia bought a dress that cost 150 pesos, but with 10% discount, how much does she need to pay? So, as you can see, may apat na choices dito on what are the right answer for the given question. So, for letter A is 15, letter B is 165, and letter C is 135, and for the letter D is 140. Performance test assessment. So earlier we will discuss about the conventional assessment, which is this kind of assessment has a choices for the specific or for the given or for the specific question. Well, for the next assessment that we will discuss for today, it is all about the performance test assessment. So when we say performance test assessment, it is an organized role play where the student show the specific situations. Just for the given example here, same question with same given example with a conventional assessment. If Leia bought a dress that cost 150 pesos, but with 10% discount, how much does she need to pay? So for this kind of assessment, which is the performance test, is kumbaga, niro-role play ng student kung ano yung nangyayari sa binigay na scenario ng teacher, or let's say ng teacher, binigay ng teacher. So yun is na-assess ng teacher if nakukuha ba nila yung laman na ibinigay na scenario sa kanila. Yun, na-assess nila yun doon. So next is the authentic assessment, is the third assessment for the three main categories for the alternative assessment. So for the authentic assessment, it is an assessment who relates to performing real-world tasks. For just like the example is if Leia bought a dress that cost 150 pesos, but with 10% discount, how much does she need to pay? So when we say authentic assessment, is kumbaga nangyayari siya in real life. So again, pag sinabi nating authentic, is nangyayari siya in real life. So just like for the given example here, nangyayari talaga to in daily life. Let's proceed for the performance assessment using GRASP. So, in performance assignment can be constructed by the use of GRASP. So, the meaning of GRASP. G stands for goal, R stands for rule, A stands for audience, S stands for situation, P stands for products or performance, and S stands for standards. Say goal provide a statement of the task, establish the goal, problem, challenge, or obstacles in the task. While the role, define the role the students in the task and state the job of students for the task. Audience, which identify the target audience within the context of the scenario, just like for the example of audience might include a client or committee. Situations is the set of the context of the students will create and why they will create it. Products or performance, which is to clarify what the students will create and why they will create it. And standards, which provide students with a clear picture of success by identifying specific standards for success and by issuing rubrics to the students or developing this with the students. To the type of scoring instruments for performance assessment in TLE. So the type of scoring instruments for performances assessments include the checklist and rating scales. So we will discuss first the checklist. So when we say checklist, it is where the information is listed which to be followed by the student to achieve a better outcome. So it is very helpful for the student and also for the teachers for having a checklist because it will help and it will be easier for them to identify on what they need to do and also help them to be organized on their task. So next is we will discuss about the rating scale. So rating scale is in rating which include the rubrics. So in checklist it doesn't have a rubrics. So in rating scale it has a rubrics. So just like for this example, kumuha ako ng example dito for you to know on what are the differences between checklist and rating scale. I know that all of you know what are the rubrics means. It is used to evaluate a performance in a given outcome or performances. So we usually see this or saw this in terms of performing a task or an activity. So it is very helpful no para ma-identify kung na-reach niya ba yung point na yon at deserve niya ba na mabigyan ng ganitong points. So yun yung rubrics natin. So in rubrics there are two types of assessment here. First is the analytic assessment, which means involves assessing different aspects of student performances such as mechanism, grammar, style, etc. While the holistic assessment means making an overall assessment considering criteria simultaneously.
A pleasant day, everyone. I'm Bianca Centeno, your reporter of the day. So at this juncture, I will introduce to you what is the steps in construction analytic rubric. We have to come to understand that analytic rubric divides the product or process into various skills or a part of aid scoring. Thus, contribution of an analytic requires systematic procedures, which mean this construction analytic. This is the process of systematic procedures allow you to grade assessment tasks, like for example, how you handle a proper research to conduct an interview. Steps 1. Decide on the criteria to be evaluated. The criteria are basis for rating aspect of the product or process being evaluated. These criteria should not be hidden to the test takers to avoid deceit. Example, consider the example assessment for products performance attached in Def Ed Order number 73 2012. This example rubric is a sample scoring guide for an action plan. Context and a specific outcome describe steps to be taken, resources clearly identified with specific deadlines written, propose evidence grow. So this means criteria evaluated is how you examine the process of evaluated criteria. Example of this is you needed to visualize a proper identify the context, evidence, resources, outcomes in order to evaluate your research papers. Steps 2. Decide on the number of performance levels. The performance level can be viewed as a rating of the specific aspect of the performance. Performance levels can be in numeral values such as 1, 2, 3, or word description. So this means this number performance level, which is the prospects of performance rating. For example, you conduct the research in front of everyone. So in order to succeed, you need the action of how you represent the outcome of performance. Steps 3. Define expectation at the highest performance level. Defining the expectation of the highest level performance level will make it easier to identify what is below the highest expected performance. So this means performance expectation, result, action, outcomes, and behavior. This expectation high performance is based on action, result, expectation. Step 4. Define expectation at the remaining performance level. Start with defining expectation in order to performance level below the highest and continue until the lowest performance level defined, which means needs to improve of their performance, successful, exceptional, and also their levels. Thank you.